I love the jerseys that you're wearing this week. They look rad. Who do you got on there? He's got on Sauce. And I got on the t-shirt.
Dude, I know. It pisses me off that we keep coordinating.
This is what happens when you're fellow Jets fans, but you're one of your best buddies. It's like you're in sync without wanting to be in sync most of the time.
Unplanned again.
Unplanned again, yes.
Completely unplanned.
2 times in a row we did this.
But we're in sync. I mean, I actually, but why is it tie-dye? You don't look like a tie-dye guy to me.
I am not a tie-dye guy, and I never went to summer camp.
A tie-dye guy.
But I actually was attempting to wash my clothes because I, don't live with mom anymore, and
God bless you.
and I bleached it. Yeah. But this is not bad for bleach, right? It looks like I bought it like
that. It actually I was gonna say it looks
right?
legit.
It looks like one of those rad ones from
perfect.
Spencer's and shit.
Len, get a close up on this. Len, bring it in. Look at that. That's actually he's like an artist.
Yeah, I try to be different.
I didn't know you had it in you. Well, I mean, welcome to the Fantasy Wise Guys, where we make smart moves so you don't have to. We're your hosts, Chef Myke Meals, whipping work. The man, the myth, the legend, the Joey, the Puma, Joey Puma, here with us today. Today is still the same date, March 13th.
I didn't think you were going to go with that. I thought you were going to go with at least the next day.
It was at least... Should we redo that whole part?
No. Leave that. Leave it. Listen, go to the next segment, goddammit.
Listen, we got to film a lot of stuff. We got to split them up. We have to let people know. But be sure to like, comment, subscribe. What else do you want to see? We're trying to jam a bunch of shit in. We want people to be aware of the news.
Hey, listen, when you have crammed schedules, this is the way to go. And we're going to get you caught up, but also give you our biggest winners and losers and some sleepers. Right, Myke?
Yeah, we're going to talk about the team's biggest winners, losers. Mm-hmm. Do you have yours ready?
I do have mine ready.
Absolutely. So then we're going to talk about the players' biggest winners and losers from the free agency. You got your guys ready?
I got my guys ready.
Sleepers. And then who else is available?
Yes, that is key. Because, with who's coming available, we still haven't heard from Rodgers. I don't know. He's doing an old song and dance. Maybe he put himself back in the cave. I don't know. But he's becoming the new Brett Favre, I believe, of our era.
I know. You really hit that. Especially, what did they say about him today?
He was on the beach or something.
No, but who's talking to him now?
I feel like no one wants to talk to him.
You said the Vikings, though.
Oh, you mean like professionally? Oh, I thought you meant personally. I don't even want to talk to him. But stop giving us candy before work.
That was good. That was good.
But no, yes, it did come out that Aaron Rodgers is speaking to the Minnesota Vikings. They are now involved in the Rodgers sweepstakes. You have Minnesota, Pittsburgh Steelers, and the New York Giants. I know which way I'd go, but I'm curious to think, where would you go?
You mean if I was Aaron Rodgers?
Just not the cave part.
I mean, I personally, I think he's got to go to the Steelers. Like, why go to the Giants? You're in the end of your career. Go somewhere where you could potentially win.
Yeah.
And then if you go to the Vikings, I mean, you're literally doing exactly what he said. You're going the Brett Favre route. And do you want to be like a copycat, or do you want to try to start your own legacy? They just got DK Metcalf. They got Pickens over there. You could make something happen.
I will go on record, wherever Mr. Rogers' neighborhood goes, he will definitely be in the top 3 in MVP race just because he left the New York Jets.
Absolutely.
But that's another story for another episode.
So then we'll talk about today's, the team. Let's start with that. The team's biggest winners and losers. Who's a made team? You like that, made team?
I like that.
And who's sleeping with the fishes. So here's how it goes. Basically, based off of free agency and trades, all the transactions that's happened this offseason so far, what teams were the biggest winners and losers? So I will start with my biggest winner. I don't know if you're going to like this one, but I really like this one big time. I had to pick the Commanders, right? So you already know they are all in on rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels. They made it to the NFC Championship last year. Decided to fill in some missing pieces. They just traded for Deebo Samuel. They re-signed Zach Ertz, who was the tight end 8. They brought in premier left tackle, so now more pieces to the offensive line. Laramie Tunsil. They even addressed the defense by adding Javon Kinlaw, our ex-boy, ex-Jet. They still have Terry McLaurin, Austin Eckler, or Terry McLaurin, as he likes to call him, Scary Terry. Austin Eckler, Brian Robinson. I mean, Terry McLaurin was the wide receiver 5 on the year. Puma picked him last year, like in the 5th or 6th round, proving that this wide receiver could be a wide receiver 1 to carry him to the championship. So, from a fantasy perspective, all these players should see an increase in production, have a high impact going into 2025. I think somebody like Deebo Samuel, who's being slept on, could be a key missing link. Lining up on the other side of Terry McLaurin, providing Jaden Daniels with another option. They like the RPO. Eckler and Robinson last year were a great 1-2 punch. And when one went down, the other one carried. Brian Robinson at the beginning of the season was phenomenal. He only finished as the RB29. He did have some missing games, but let's just think about this for a minute. You have him and Austin Eckler now sharing carries. One goes down, the other picks up. And that's the type of thing that you want from a team like that. Austin Eckler was slept on big time last year because
major.
In 2023, he had an injury, sprained ankle. As you know, sprains, you do not come back from easily. So
Absolutely.
Austin Eckler got himself together, had a fantastic year last year for a backup running back, basically, and carried them and helped carry them to the NFC Championship. So I went with the Commanders. I think that they're going to have a big year this year. They're all in on Daniels, and I'm all in on the Commanders.
I love that. I love that take.
You like it?
Yeah.
I like it. It's good.
Myke, my biggest winner is a local. I think it's going to frighten some people, but it is the New York Football Jets. Now, call me crazy. I would say 70% of this pick is because of Justin Fields. For me, they get a grade A just for going out and getting that quarterback. But you know what? They're surrounding him with his friends, right? Josh Mayer, they just signed just a day ago, should be the new center of the New York Jets. But what people aren't mentioning is signing that player that's familiar with Justin Fields, who went to the Ohio State University, just like Garrett Wilson, Jeremy Rucker, and more players that we will be getting. It also kicks out Tittman, who was our center going into 2024.
Yeah, where do they put him?
They're going to put him at left guard.
Left guard, yeah, that's what I
And then
thought.
you'll have AVT at right guard. Mm-hmm. I think it makes for a stronger offensive line, and this is why they become my winner, because now you get to blow up Garrett Wilson. And some people might say, well, Garrett Wilson's already a stud. No, he's going to be even more of a stud. I will go out there and say that 2023 season, before Fields was jettisoned, with DJ Moore, right, on the Bears, DJ Moore had his best season of his career, Michael.
Monster.
Michael, read off those stats for me. Where did DJ Moore finish?
Last year or to the year before that?
Year before that.
So
2023. How many touchdowns did he have?
Well, I'll tell you right now, he had 1,364 yards.
Right.
8 touchdowns, 136 targets, 96 receptions. Where did he finish, though? I'll come back to you on that. Where is it? Oh, shoot, you're right.
Lo and behold, I feel like DJ Moore's stats were off the chart in 2023. I feel Garrett Wilson's will be the same in 2025.
Absolutely.
After, right before us filming this, Myke was just getting on me about how I was playing someone in the league, and it was a Thursday night, and I had Justin Fields and DJ Moore. And I think together they had 90 points.
90 points.
90 points. Unbelievable. So
3 touchdowns for DJ Moore, and it was 5 for Fields in total.
Well, that's why my point relates to fantasy as well. Even though the team is a winner, Justin Fields and Garrett Wilson can do damage having that connection with one another. And it also benefits from getting them in lower in the draft. pick-wise.
And that same year that you were talking about, Justin Fields had 1,153 rushing yards.
Right.
2023. So they were able, and along with Moore's 1,300 passing or receiving yards.
Right.
So you're right. That's crazy production. I'm praying that Wilson could be on the same page.
Absolutely.
I'm still trying to pull up what DJ Moore's finish was.
I think
it was
back
like
to
6.
That. It was top 10. But the point I was trying to make is that it was just a great fantasy sleeper season. I had him on my team. I won the league like that with Justin Fields and DJ Moore. And you know what? I would plan for my I always have a new stack of the year, right? When I go into it. When I go into these leagues, I want to look for something that's a sleeper that nobody is going to be looking for. 2 years ago, it was Fields and DJ Moore. Last year, it was McLaurin and Jaden Daniels for me. And if you follow my trend, you'll definitely know what's coming next.
Dude, I love that. I'm actually so pumped up, man. I really think that they're going to be
Did I make
awesome.
good points?
You made great points. I mean,
right.
And the Jets, you have to stand by them because we are, as you guys know, die-hard Jet fans.
Yes, I try.
And I was right too. So DJ Moore was the wide receiver 6. Forgive me. I was looking at a bunch of things. We have a lot of stuff going on here. But yes, Puma, you were right. He is in the top 10.
Good.
I said he was the wide receiver 6.
Yeah.
He was there.
Yeah, man.
And just to highlight that real quick, I mean, yeah, he plays all the games too, man.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Like Mike likes to say, I know this stuff off the top of my head, which is kind of weird. But yeah.
He's like he's like a encyclopedia, football encyclopedia. So let's go with the losers.
Okay.
Losers, as you all know, I don't like me a loser. So let me start with my loser, the Dallas Cowboys. Another year, no moves whatsoever. Jerry Jones, he's sleeping up there. The guy wants to do too much at once. As a businessman, I think it's horrible that you got to be the GM and the owner. You got too much going on, and he's older, and he's really out of touch. Just to highlight a couple of quick things, they already lost a few players on defense. They didn't bring him back. He's proving to be cheap again there. Proving to be cheap again by losing Rico Dowdle. They signed Javonte Williams, which is, to me, a big downgrade. And, of course, they're now leaving the room open where they're not signing anybody. No wide receiver 2 to pair up with CeeDee Lamb, leaving him susceptible again to high target volume, and who knows, that can lead to injuries. But the last year they waited until the last possible minute, if you guys remember, to give CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott extensions.
The day of kickoff.
And honestly, when you got a guy like CeeDee Lamb who holds out all year for it, you can't help but feel like this starts him off. He's a little out of shape. He hasn't been playing.
Yes.
He's super talented, but when this type of stuff happens, it slows production. And this is what we're seeing again this year. This shows they are reluctant to reward their players coming off of good years. So who knows, what type of, how they're feeling. They're restructuring their contracts again this year. They're trying to do something, but to me, this isn't, there's not a lot of high morale going on in the Dallas locker room. They're not bringing guys in. Now, if they go out and sign a Cooper Kupp or an Amari Cooper, I'd say, okay, they're trying to do something. Even Stephon Diggs, to pair him, his brother's over there. But until I see something like that, until I see a big name player get drafted or get signed to the Dallas Cowboys, they are the biggest loser for 2 years in a row.
Yeah, no, those are great points Mike brought up. And I feel honestly, Jerry Jones, for someone who had gotten involved so much, it's like he's not getting involved at all. Dude, why can't you just be happy medium? He's either not involved, which he is now, or he was too much firing everyone. You already got Shoddy there, who was already the offensive coordinator.
Yep.
So you have the, a person that was in-house. Okay, you get Javonte Williams. I mean, he ain't fucking Jim Brown. But still, I believe your plan should be a la going back to 2016. You go running back in the first round, get yourself a Genti, get yourself excited, go make another signing, get an Amari Cooper, someone that's comfortable with Dak Prescott or a Cooper Kupp, right? Pair him with Lamb. Now we've just changed the offense a little bit, and we've gotten a little bit better. They have made no moves, and we don't like to talk defense on this show because, again, we are an offensive-friendly fantasy show. But like they did lose Lawrence, Dexter
Lawrence, Trayvon Diggs. So he's coming back from the ACL.
DeMarcus Lawrence. I'm sorry, Dexter Lawrence is on the Giants.
Edge.
DeMarcus Lawrence, the edge rusher from the Dallas Cowboys, went to Seattle last night. Like, dude, they're losing players left and right.
Also, Jordan Lewis, the cornerback over there, who was a stud. And Trayvon Diggs coming back from that torn ACL.
So, and, you know, other than the other biggest loser that I have on my board, which we're going to talk about next, I truly feel that Dallas is, if not for one team that I'm going to mention now, it's probably the second to last team in that conference.
Definitely. They're up there.
Like, I take Seattle, and Seattle's got Jake Bobo.
He's big on Jake Bobo. Remember, that's like the second time he's talked about him. Len, put up Jake Bobo on the screen.
Yeah. Bobo. Okay, guys.
Wait,
so
who's your loser?
My biggest loser, I'm staying with the hometown, and I'm going New York Giants.
Oh, the double New York whammy. Winner to losers, huh?
Dude,
okay.
Dude, yeah. I'm living on the turnpike. And the dirty turnpike, the poison of Jersey. But listen, the proof is in the pudding. Joe Shane has not upgraded this coaching staff nor team roster, right? They re-signed Darius Slayton, who, like, dude, we're giving the bag to Darius Slayton, but we couldn't give the bag a year ago to Saquon Barkley. I don't get it. I don't think my mom gets it.
Like, could you put those offers on the screen real quick?
Like, Darius Slayton over Barkley. But okay, fine. Maybe Slayton is going to be the next Torrey Holt. Maybe they know something we don't. But still, not in favor of that.
That's a great point, though. That the comparison that they wouldn't sign Saquon for the same amount, like, that was unbelievable, man.
You know what I think it is, honestly? If they were to go back in time, they'd do it. But here, I think they're just hesitant. I think that they're afraid to lose anybody now because they're afraid Slayton's going to go somewhere and become a stud. So, you know, what if Slayton were to go to the Commanders and go off, right? So my thing is, I think now they're just playing scared, right?
True.
We don't have a quarterback, right? Who's the quarterback? Danny DeVito?
They signed him.
Tommy DeVito? Like, dude, Tommy DeNovo is not a starting quarterback in the league. I'm telling you now, great kid. Like him, met him, great kid. I think he's a great backup, and he could be a journeyman and have a career, right, in this league doing that. But as a true number one starter, I'm just not feeling it, you know? And Dable and Shane, they will be gone by the time we get to Halloween. And then I will be sending in my application.
I mean, yeah, for a lot of those guys, I feel bad for them. You know, and we know some of these guys personally. You mentioned Tommy DeVito. You know, he used to actually be an ambassador for NJ Gourmet. Just throwing that out there. Shout out to NJ Gourmet. And currently, right now, on that same team, who I'm hoping has an awesome year, my man Tyrone Tracy, who is currently NJ Gourmet's #1 sponsored athlete. Hopefully you see him on the show one day. Tyrone, come on, man. You got to get on here. So what's up next?
What do we got next, fella?
Let's see. We did the losers, winners. Oh, yeah, the players now.
Oh, here we go. This is actually my favorite. Because let's talk about some positive. I'm always about the positive.
Do you want to start first this time since I started first last time?
Sure, I'm always willing to go first.
Who's your winner?
Bada bing. So my winner is, I'm going to call an audible right here. Oh. And I'm going to go Najee Harris.
I like that.
Listen, Mike, you know, this man is about to go off. Here's why. And I'm going to bring up another player. In 2024, Mr. J.K. Dobbins had 9 touchdowns, right? He started 13 games and receptions 32.
Yeah, big
he could catch out of the backfield. That's the point I'm trying to make. Yards on those catches, 153. Dude, he's a beast. Total yards, 905. Right? He was getting the rock, sharing a little bit with Gus Edwards.
Oh, yeah.
But you could see in a Harbaugh offense, a la Frank Gore back in 2012 with the San Francisco 49ers from the U.
Yeah.
He was a beast. Listen, the trend doesn't lie. Women lie, men lie, but the stats never lie. Frank Gore was a stud.
That.
J.K. Dobbins was a stud last year. My guy, talking about my guy, Najee Harris, is going to be a stud. Michael, I project him to have 12 touchdowns, 1,000 yards rushing.
It's a great projection. I feel like me and you are probably some of the only guys in on Najee. I mean, he's an absolute stud, man.
And also, too, it's all about, like, it's especially for the draftees, right? It's about where you go. You know, it's where you go in free agency. It's where you're drafted. I don't care if you're the number one overall pick. If you're drafted to a shitty situation, a la the Tennessee Titans, you're probably going to be shit for another 2 seasons. That's just what it is, right? But if you're drafted to a good offensive line, a running pro coach, a coach that has had almost 1,000-yard back every time he's been in the NFL, well, you know what? I'm going to go with that trend, people. Because at the end of the day, the numbers never lie.
They don't. And honestly, Najee now being there, he's, like we said in the last episode, the guy stays healthy, running offense. I might draft him. I'm looking at him this year. If I get him in the right round, I'm taking him.
Absolutely.
Am I up?
Yes, you're up. Usually that's how it goes. Me and then you.
I was honestly gonna kind of audible, but this one was just too juicy for me. And although people are probably gonna say, how is it a winner, being that Brock Bowers was already the tight end 1 last year, I have to say that this year he is an absolute winner. Here's why. Geno Smith was just traded there. We discussed this last episode. Geno Smith had high volume production. I feel like this team could be losing a lot, which means they're going to have to throw. And Geno threw the rock many times last year, he set the record for himself for most passing yards in a season, 4,300. A guy like Brock Bowers only had 5 touchdowns. This year, I could see 8 touchdowns from him. Last year, he only had 112 receptions. I could see 125. He had 1,200 yards, which is tough to carry, but I mean, this guy is almost more like a wide receiver, and he gets 10 targets minimum a game. And with somebody like Geno, I feel like he's going to pepper him with targets. Depending on what they do offensively during the draft, I think that, you know, that they can bring in some more weapons, helping them move the ball, take some attention off Bowers. But Brock Bowers already, it was kind of questionable. You know, Gardner Minshew was his quarterback last year. Aiden O'Connell was his quarterback last year. It was like you were almost wondering, is it a fluke? Like, is Brock going to be the same? Because if you remember Sam Laporta last year, his rookie year, phenomenal year. And from there, the second year he came back, not so phenomenal. So I was almost thinking, is it going to be the same thing for Brock Bowers? Was it a fluke? Are people catching on to it? Is he going to now, you know, fall down in the rankings a little bit? And I think that with Geno Smith being signed there, I think that, or being traded there rather, I think that now it's an assurance that Brock Bowers is going to be a dominant tight end. Look to draft him high. Don't sleep on him again, or don't think he's gonna fall. He's gonna be right back, pick up right where he left off. I mean, he can go in second round easily.
Yeah, to piggyback on Brock Bowers, I knew he was a stud coming out. The New York Jets should have taken him instead of Fashanu. I will go to my grave saying that. Guy is a stud. And, you know, again, to piggyback on Mike's point, he is taking the mantle away from Travis Kelce as the number 1 tight end. I truly believe that. And what also helps Mike's point is, who else is Geno Smith thrown to? Jacoby Myers?
Trey Tucker?
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. So, again, who else is he throwing to? So you have to look at that when you go into drafts, that, oh my God, like, yes, he might be the only, you know, stud there, but at the end of the day, he's the only stud there. Therefore, you know what? It never lies. The tape never lies. He's a good player. Draft him second round.
Absolutely. So now we're on to losers.
Right.
Losers. I mean, who do we got? Am I up? I'm going.
I'm going.
Let's hear it.
And you know where I'm gonna go? It's a sad day. Len, get out the violin. Because you know who's the biggest loser this week? It's my man, Elite Neighbors.
Oh,
Malik
Christ.
Elite Neighbors.
I mean,
The man he averaged 18 points last year with Danny DeVito, Tyler Boyd, Drew Lock, and Daniel Mr. Jones. He had 91 snap percentage, 11 targets per game, 7.3 catches per game,
170 total targets.
80 yards per game. Dude, he was the wide receiver 7 in 2024. Stud. He played 15 games out of 17. But at the end of the day, who was throwing the rock, man? Who was throwing the rock? We've got one quarterback on the roster. That's Danny DeVito, Tommy DeVito, right? What are we doing? What are we doing, Joe Shane? What are we doing? And you see, also too, he might be a loser going forward into the season because of his draft capital. You know, in our area, there are going to be some guys that take him in the top 10. And you know what? I couldn't blame you, but that's too rich for me for a guy that has no quarterback.
It feels like his earliest production was last year when Daniel Jones was still there, before he got benched and then they started playing the other guys. Then he had a couple of bad performances. Week 7, 41 yards. Week 8, 71. Week 9, 59. Week 10, 50. Scoreless through all these. 64. Week 12, scoreless. 69, scoreless. 79. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of targets, though. A lot of catches. I mean, you know, and it's a shame because I wouldn't want to sleep on Malik yet. But, yeah, if they don't get a quarterback. Dunzo, absolutely. I mean, so my loser, similar situation actually. This is why I kind of like this one. So my loser, who was the loser of all losers, I never looked to draft him because you guys know me about attitude. I do not get along with people that have bad attitudes. So the number one player I picked due to his situation is George Pickens. George Pickens was a wide receiver 1 alpha over in Pittsburgh, and let's just go over last year before he got DK Metcalf. He still finished only as the wide receiver 41. And right now they don't have a quarterback. That was with Russell Wilson. That was with Justin Fields, who is now on the Jets. Russell Wilson looking at other options. But a guy like George Pickens, you know he's going to lose targets. You know he's going to get frustrated. You know his attitude might take over and he might not be performing to his highest potential. Or it could be the complete opposite. You know, obviously you can get a guy like Rodgers in who's slanging the ball, makes both of them look heavenly. But right now, as of now, with no quarterback, being the situation that it is, George Pickens to me is a loser. And he's somebody that I am not going to draft. I'm not looking for him. I'm looking elsewhere. If it comes up and the pick falls to me, I'll look somewhere else. Like obviously a Terry McLaurin is going to be higher this year, but last year they fell in the same category. Yeah. You know, so this year
maybe like a Deebo Samuel.
I'll take Deebo Samuel over him. I would take. Let's just go over a couple here.
Maybe a Lad McConkey, if anything.
I would love that. I would take Devonta Smith over him. I would take Jordan Addison over him.
Jerry Jeudy.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
You got him.
But Jameson Williams, I would take Jameson Williams over him. I would take Ayuk. I would take Godwin. I would take Xavier Worthy. Is there anyone else I'm thinking
Chris Olave?
Oh, Olave, absolutely. I would take all of these guys. Now, they don't have Derek Carr yet, do they?
They're about to see if they want to restructure his contract. But we're not too sure. Yeah.
So Deebo, all these guys. I mean, and honestly, I would even consider Jacoby Myers, maybe. No, I wouldn't probably. But George Pickens.
Let's just go. I would even go so far to take Cooper Kupp, not even on team, over George Pickens.
Never drafted him, never will. So that's my.
Actually, me too.
My loser. Let me start with the sleeper this time. I said it last episode, I'm going to say it again. I'm going with Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram was slept on last year. And for those of you who like to wait till the very end to draft a tight end, look for this guy. He is now moved to Denver with Bo Nix, who they don't have many receiving options. They had Cortland Sutton last year. They have Marvin Mims, but these are guys that aren't as reliable. Cortland Sutton is. He's Mr. Reliable, as you like to say. But Evan Ingram it could be a quarterback's dream. So for somebody like him to go with Bo Nix and play over there, I think that he's going to get drafted late, and this could be a potential guy that you pick up one of the late rounds and who can be dominant for you. So look for Evan Ingram. Just to give you some quick stats on him here. Let me pull Evan Ingram. So 2 years ago, he did finish as the tight end 2. Last year, he was hurt most of the year, but when he came back, 10 targets. Then he had 5, 10 targets again, 8 targets, 7 targets, 9 targets. Only 1 touchdown in there, but from that stretch, you see that he was getting the ball. He commands targets. 100% catch rate, 80% catch rate here, 75. I mean, he was playing with another quarterback. So now he's with Bo Nix, a young kid, gunslinger who loves, and Sean Payton in the past has loved to utilize tight ends. So I can totally see them making Evan Ingram a key piece of this team. And they're another ones who are all in. They know they got Bo Nix now. They just stacked up the defense.
Right.
So,
hey, just to name a few, like Sean Payton had Jeremy Shockey with the Saints. He had Jimmy Graham.
Yep.
Right? Adam Troutman, Dulcich combo of them last year. But this gives them a number 1 tight end, especially a tight end that could catch. He's not really so much blocking. So you could set him out in the slot. He could do a lot of things, pick plays, and they could use him more so as like a poor version of Travis Kelce. I love the pickup. That's a great sleeper, Mike. And like you said, the biggest point, people that like to wait on tight ends, this is definitely a round 10 or
for sure
more pick.
And the thing is that the last couple of years, before last year when he was injured, he played 17 games, 17, 15, 16. The guy plays. Give him, don't rule him out just because of last year he had some injuries. So don't get confused by the ADP. You got to look ahead of that sometimes and see, is it worth me waiting a couple extra picks and picking somebody else up? Because if you don't grab Brock Bowers right in the beginning, I mean, I would say it's anybody's game at tight end. George Kittle and Brock Bowers are 2 guys that are obviously going to be looked to get drafted high. Trey McBride. But after that, I mean, I would consider taking him and not going over Jonnu Smith. I'd consider not waiting for Mark Andrews or Travis Kelce. I think I would wait and look to pick up Evan Ingram. That's a solid tight end sleeper pick.
I love it, Mike.
You're up, buddy.
Sleeper for me, all right. It was a guy that was reported to be cut but was traded. Mr. Christian Captain Kirk.
Oh, another Jaguar. I like that.
Yeah, and here's why. You've got your new GM in Jacksonville who was just getting rid of everyone, right? And they sell Christian Kirk for a measly 7th round pick to the Houston Texans. Well, you know what? The Houston Texans have a big void at wide receiver too.
Huge.
They actually signed like him, Braxton Berrios, and Justin Watson from Kansas City. But again, Christian Kirk has more of the resume to fill that wide receiver too. The best thing about Christian Kirk is he loves to play inside, which is the slot. People, which makes him a PPR nightmare. Mike, comp for him, Emmanuel Sanders back in the day with Denver. Gets you those little drag routes over the middle. But because last year he had an injury-plagued year, right? His 2024 season. His 2023 season, great season. He had 85 targets, 5 touchdowns, definitely 57 receptions. Definitely makings of a wide receiver too, if not flex play.
Yeah.
So someone you could definitely get, Mike, in the double-digit rounds. People are going to be
100%.
looking over Mr. Christian Kirk because of the injury. And let's just face it, it's the Houston Texans. People are thinking C.J. Stroud, Joe Mixon, Nico Collins. But there has to be someone alongside Nico Collins when he's double, triple covered. That, for me, C.J. Stroud, new security blanket, Christian Kirk.
So would you take Christian Kirk over, let's say, Stephon Diggs before he lands somewhere?
Yes.
Would you take him before Josh Downs?
Yes.
Michael. So then you definitely take him before Michael Pittman.
No, because Michael Pittman is their number 1.
All right, I like that. So that's where we
draw the line. Like,
okay.
I'm not. You see, like, if someone's number one is still someone's number one, they're going to get the lion's share. But if I'm looking for that wide receiver 2 or a flex spot to fill, I mean, some leagues out there, if you guys have 3 receivers or 2 flexes, this is definitely a man you want to get in your starting lineup because he's sneaky, and you could get him in rounds 8 and above.
So I guess in a way, Christian Kirk has the chance to be a made guy.
He does have a chance to be a made guy, a low-key, sneaky made guy.
Low-key, but I like him, man. And so that's
why it's a sleeper, dog.
Yeah, no, honestly, that was a really good one. I like that. And it's funny that we picked both those ex-Jaguar players. We picked a lot of Giants guys here. We talked about the ex-Pittsburgh guy, current Pittsburgh guys. I mean, shit's happening, dude. It's going to be a wild year. So the last guys, we'll just real quick, who's still available? Aaron Rodgers. We talked about that in the beginning. Russell Wilson still available. Cooper Kupp still available. Amari Cooper still available. Stephon Diggs and J.K. Dobbins still available.
Dippin' Dobbins.
These are all guys that are definitely draftable. Maybe not the quarterbacks as much, but depending on where they go, they are draftable.
Yeah, I believe that I'm just going to go out on the limb with 3 guys. Russell Wilson, he is going to go visit Cleveland Browns tomorrow, which is Friday. I believe he doesn't get out of the building. I think he's so salty at Pittsburgh that he goes and plays for the Cleveland Browns, and we will be talking about Jerry Jeudy on this next show.
I was about to say, that'll be a Jerry Jeudy, Russell Wilson rekindling.
Absolutely.
Jerry Jeudy kind of hated him.
Yeah. But I think that, at the end of the day, you're on the same team again. God's brought you to this point. Why not? Take it out on Pittsburgh.
Jerry Jeudy's beef was with Denver and Steven Smith.
Right. So you really can't. Yeah, you really can't. Put it all on Russ. So, my second one, I'm going out on the limb. I believe J.K. Dobbins does get re-signed by the L.A. Chargers.
I could see him going.
Yeah, I think that they just cut Gus Edwards. They're only running back on the roster other than Najee Harris is Cavani Vidal, and I didn't like his showing too much. So JK, I think you could sign him for another 1 year, have him back up Najee Harris on third down, especially JK is really good with receiving the ball out of the backfield, and you have him on those third down plays. And my third one I'm going out on the limb with, Aaron Rodgers to the Minnesota Vikings. I think he takes the Brett Favre path.
Man, that would be great. And honestly, I was thinking it would be really interesting to see one of these receivers go to Dallas and line up. But you know what I said earlier? They're a loser, and they're not going to make any moves. The guy's a dinosaur running the joint over there. I mean, who's running shit over there besides...
Where's this?
I said I would love to see one of those receivers go to Dallas because I was saying that they need another wide receiver.
I think they don't get any of these guys.
I would even love to see the Jets do it. I was talking about it today. I mean, just to make the pick, but of course we know it's not going to happen.
The Dallas will get like Tyler Lockett that's like on his way out.
I could see Cooper Kupp though going to Jacksonville or somewhere like that. Someone.
I'm gonna say Cooper Kupp, Seattle.
That'd be nice. Yeah,
they got money under the cap. You get Scam, another target aside JSN, and he gets to go play LA Rams. Could you imagine that battle on a Thursday night football?
Oh, yeah.
How you doing?
That'd be nice. So
Cooper Kupp makes his return back to LA. SoFi, I like that.
Hopefully by the next episode we'll have some more info on that, and we want to start doing some specialty episodes. So if you have any ideas, let us know. But remember, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. Before you end up sleeping with the fishes, let us know again what you want to see. Is there anything you want to hear from us? Draft strategy, season rankings. You want us to go into analytics, stats. We'll talk about it all. So thanks for being in with us again. We are the Fantasy Wise Guys. Myke Meals, my man Joey Puma. And again,
master your game.